Queen 9 in the bottom left. This is a very speculative call here, but just really wanted to be playing pots with Rosinger. If there was a club on this board, I would have led at it, but there wasn't, so I'm just check folding it. Pocket fours in top left, I considered between checking and betting. I decided to bet since the 3 and the presence of the 3 and the 7, meaning that like if a 5 or a 6 comes in, I can turn a gutter, and then I continue betting on diamonds if I were called. If I couldn't turn some kind of equity, I probably would have just check folded, even though the board was a good one for my range. Because both those players seem to be relatively reasonable, meaning they're gonna have like king queen and stuff in their range, or like pairs that aren't gonna fold. Pairs above 7, pairs above 7s that aren't gonna fold with my flop bet. Anyways. Okay, this was actually an interesting hand in the bottom right with the ace king. I opted to call because I wanted to. Okay, well, it does a number of things. For one, I think Volcano is going to give me a ton of respect for having quite a strong range here. And then also I know Toad Music isn't thinking about any of that, and he's going to call with all sorts of nonsense. So, I mean, I'm calling hoping to either flop 2 overs and a flush draw or top pair or whatever. But that doesn't mean that that's all I'm going to do in the hand. 3-betting obviously would have been a fine option, but I think there's more value in playing the hand this way. So flop 2 overs and a gut shot and a backdoor flush draw. No point in leading here. I don't think very much. I don't like the way it would work with my range. Toadstool bets out 12, and this to me looks like he has something like an overpair to this board, maybe pocket 8s or pocket 9s or something like that. So my plan here is to call, and then there's a lot of different scenarios that can occur here. Like I can call, and then Toadstool could also call, and when that happens, I think that Volcano is going to bluff the turn extremely infrequently, allowing me to realize my equity on the river, meaning like if the turn came a club or whatever, I think the turn's going to check through a lot, and then maybe I can make a flush on the river, or I can make it straight on the river, or top pair, which is almost always going to be the best hand if that were the case. If I call here and Toad Music folds, I think my range is still going to look extremely strong to Volcano, and what I would do is most likely check raise any club turn. If he were to bet, probably check raise all in, because what it's going to look like when I call here is that I have like a set or a slow play overpair like aces or kings, because it looks like I'm calling in order to try to keep Toad Music in the pot. So I think that after calling here, I can get a ton of credit on turn or river. I mean, all those things that I said are the reasons for why I called. And Toad Music folds like super fast, and this turn isn't really the greatest one. I'm not like super thrilled about it. And if Volcano bets, I'm probably going to fold, though I don't think it would be a terrible spot to still just check jam, especially since I have the ace and the king, because they're blockers to him having potentially aces or kings. So even though it's a really super thin equity play to check jam there, I don't think it would be a bad one. In any case, he checked behind, so now I think that he's just like not going to call a river bet. I mean, I think the strongest hand he has in his range here will be ace 10. But I don't even think that will call, because that I'm gonna bet more. I'm gonna bet a little bit over 30, I think, and clearly I wouldn't do that with pocket 6s or pocket 7s or pocket 9s. So he's gonna have to put me on like queens plus or sets, pretty much, is what I'm expecting. So I bet on the river. Really don't think he's ever gonna call me.